Hello, I'm Tim Smith with the Adams County Historical Society, and welcome to another episode of Monuments Monday. And today, we're going to talk about monumental foundations. So, you know, there's a lot of monuments on the battlefield, and in several videos I've talked about monuments that have been moved over the years. And what I thought I'd talk about today is when a monument is moved from one location to another, often there's still a remnant of that monument at the original location. So I thought I'd show you some monumental bases that you can visit when you come out to Gettysburg on one of your days where you're exploring the battlefield. Now, in this area, there's a couple monuments that have been moved, and basically the original roadway that was placed in at this location, Stone Avenue, actually ran along that fence back there, made a hairpin turn along the Herbst woodlot, and another hairpin turn behind the camera near the 7th Wisconsin Monument. And of course, when they put these roads in during the 1890s, there were no automobiles. And eventually, we started to have automobile traffic, and they had to take these hairpin turns out. So in the late 1930s, the National Park Service put a more gradual curve into Stone and Meredith Avenue and eliminated that road. Now, originally, the monument to the 14th Brooklyn Infantry, dedicated in 1893, and the monument to John Burns were placed on the other side of that original road. So they moved these monuments forward to the new road, but the bases of both of these monuments can still be seen on the other side of the fence back there. So here is the base of the original location of the 14th Brooklyn Memorial, or the 84th New York. So not far behind the worm fence from the John Burns Monument, you can see the original foundation for the monument where it once was located. So because of the heavy winds today, we decided to move the rest of the video inside, and we'll show you images of these monumental foundations. So the 16th Michigan Memorial on Little Round Top was originally placed in June of 1889, and it was placed at ground level. And, you know, supposedly because of the weeds and the grass growing up around the monument and how it was difficult to see, they moved it onto a large boulder on the side of Little Round Top. And I know that was done in the early 1890s, not exactly sure of the date, but you can still find the original base of the 16th Michigan, not far from where the monument is today. And also on Little Round Top, the 91st Pennsylvania Monument, originally dedicated in August of 1883, was on a very prominent rock in the middle of Little Round Top. And like other Pennsylvania regiments, when they received their appropriation for a monument from the state of Pennsylvania, they put up a new monument at that location. And that one was placed in 1889, and then they moved the original monument to another location not far from it, and they added an inscription about Wheaton Hazlitt being killed at that spot. Also on Little Round Top, we have a rock that clearly indicates where a monument used to be, and this was for the 5th Maine Infantry, and I myself am the one who questioned this. I had some photographs of this monument from the Tipton collection, and something didn't look right about the background in the image. And so I tried to figure out where this monument originally was. I figured the monument had been moved to its current location. And sure enough, on Little Round Top, not far from Gibbs, Ohio Battery, there's a rock, and you can see where the 5th Maine Monument was originally placed in October of 1889. Not sure when it was moved. Also, the Second Delaware Monument used to be in the center of the wheat field at Gettysburg. But as other monuments were placed, and that monument's like from 1885, as other monuments were placed, the Gettysburg Battlefield Memorial Association came up with this rule that all the monuments should be in their brigade alignment. So I believe it was in August of 1909. Hey, somebody can check me in the comments if that's not right. The marker was moved up onto Brook Avenue to align with the rest of the regiments of that brigade. So they moved it several hundred yards. And if you go out to the wheat field today and you go to the location where the Second Delaware was, and of course you might, get hit with a bunch of sticker bushes. They're all everywhere out there. You can see the base of it still in the wheat field. Also, there's a stone that is obviously the base of a monument near a fence not far north of the Pennsylvania Monument. And it was interesting looking into this because a friend of mine says that it's the base of the 2nd New York Cavalry Memorial, and he provides very good evidence for this in a blog post he did about the GAR Memorial on East Middle Street and how that monument was moved to the location except for the base, which was left out there. And then I noticed that other people were saying that this was actually the base for Fitzhugh's Battery, a New York artillery unit that had been moved. So I myself don't know where to stand on this, but I tend to believe the tour guide that has the blog post, and it's the original base of the 2nd New York Cavalry Memorial. But you can find that still out there along the field just north of the Pennsylvania Monument again. And then we have, of course, I mentioned the John Burns statue and the 14th Brooklyn, but also in the woods on the slopes of Big Round Top, there's a base of a monument. And I have to admit, it was not me that discovered what monument this base was from. It was the cavalry historians that have done a lot of research on this aspect of the battlefield, the east, the Farnsworth Charge area. And it's definitely the base of the 5th New York Cavalry Memorial. And it was placed there on July 3rd, 1888. We have a couple photographs of it at that location on Big Round Top. And then later it was moved. And according to the Gettysburg compiler for November 25th, 1890, considerable work is in progress on the battlefield. The 5th New York Cavalry will be moved from its present position south of Round Top to the Bushman Woods about a mile away. There's no way that that's a mile. Maybe it's a quarter mile to most. But yes, the 5th New York Cavalry Memorial was actually moved. And it's fascinating today. And we're going to put a photograph of the stone here coming up with a little challenge. So I don't want to tell you exactly how to find this base. Let me just say it is south of the Big Round Top parking lot and west of the current South Confederate Avenue. And as a challenge for this week's Monuments Monday, we'd like you to come out here while you can still see through the woods and the leaves are off the trees and find the base of the 5th New York Cavalry Memorial. It's near the Big Round Top parking lot.